It's going to show you guys how to log into Google Drive. You just sign in with your school account and your school password. And once you're signed in, you can click on the app launcher, choose Drive, or you can just type in drive.google.com, come to the same location. You'll know you're signed into the Belton account because it's got the Belton logo up at the top. On the left hand side, you can click choose new, and you can choose to create a folder, upload folder, or create other documents. So when you choose to do an upload folder at a time, you can then select any folder on your device. If you're using Google Drive, if you're using Google Chrome, then you can choose folder upload, and that will let you upload an entire folder directly to Google Drive. So that's kind of a good feature about using Google Chrome. I highly recommend using Google Chrome over Firefox or Safari, but it's up to you. You can access them all the same. Files can be selected, and double-clicking to enter into a folder. You can select multiple files by holding the command button or dragging selection to grab those files, and then you can just select them, drag them, and they will group up, and then you can drag them over to the left hand side to drop them into another location. On the left hand side, you see we have this My Drive function. This is your home drive for Google Drive. Your folders and files live in My Drive. All the ones that you create will live right inside of My Drive. You can see I have quite a few over here listed by name, and you can sort by name or last modified. When somebody creates a file and it's shared with you, then those files will be thrown into this Shared With Me section. You can see it's sorted chronologically as you get them. It also tells you who's sharing that file to you. And so I can select this file, and when I single click to select it, I then have options here that will let me grab the link for that file, let me share it with other people if I have permissions. This lets me preview the file, so I don't have to open it exactly up. I can just preview it, and then I'm given some other options like print it or download it, zooming in or zooming out, or I can pop it into its own window. I'm going to go ahead and close that. I can trash that file that was sent to me, so remove it from my trash, and then finally I can add it to my drive. And when I do that, then that puts it back into my main folder, and I can sort that file by dragging it to another location. The next link down is your Google Photos, and this will sync depending on which devices you have. Mobile devices that you have sort of turned on, it'll let you add and organize your photos into here. Down, the next one is the recent. This is recent documents or files that you've opened, and again it's sorted by the most recent activity, and you can see some of the files that I've recently opened, so I can quickly find those that I had opened earlier. Starred, every file lets you turn on or turn off a star, and when you star it, it basically is saying, hey, this is an important file, I want to quickly come back to that file. And so I've starred a couple folders here, and I've starred a couple files that I need to quickly use. And to star it, you can right click on it and say star, or in this case remove star, and when I remove the star, it pulls it out of this star list. Finally, on the left hand side, we have the trash can. This shows you files and folders that you've recently trashed, and if you would like to permanently delete these, you can choose select the file. You can choose to permanently delete it forever, or if I need to restore it and put it back where I pulled it from, you can do that. So that's sort of an overview of the left hand side of using Google Drive. And let's look when I select a file or a folder in this case. So I'll choose my example folder. When you choose it to select it, you get the pop-up, so I can get the link for that folder. I can share it with other people. I can trash it, or I can click the little 3-button ellipses here and choose to make a new folder or move this folder into another folder. I can add a star to it. I can change the color of that folder, and I can rename that folder. Also, when you're selected, you then have the option for seeing the activity and the info screen by clicking this I button here. The activity shows you activity that's been recently done on that folder or file, and the details shows you details about what this file is. In this case, this is a folder. It's located in my drive. It was modified here. It was last opened by me here, and it was created here. I have an option if I want to add some additional notes to be attached to this folder just for my own personal viewing. This gear gadget gives you settings and gives you the option to convert uploaded documents automatically or make these documents available offline. I've skipped over the grid view. This toggles the view between grid and list. So let me go ahead and turn my information off here and change the views. So if you like the grid view, if you like to see sort of a little thumbnail icon so you can see what you're looking at before actually opening it, that's kind of what this view does. I prefer the list view. I kind of like seeing the additional information about modified and who's the ownership on those files. So that's just sort of personal preference and what you like. When you jump into a folder, you'll notice that there's some breadcrumbs across the top that you can click on to jump back out of a folder. And so there's jumping into it and jumping out of it. Here's my example folder that has some additional files. I can create a folder underneath this folder, so it's kind of like a subfolder. So inside of my example folder, I have a subfolder, and now you can see I'm in my example folder, I'm in my drive, and here's this blank subfolder. And if I want to create a document, I choose to create, in this case, a new document. That document will be located in the folder that I was currently opening. So here's my example document. Go ahead and close that window. And when this refreshes, you can see now the example document is in the subfolder, in the example folder, in my drive. So all of these are linked so you can quickly jump back up a level. If I click the I, you can see for this example document, it's created again in my subfolder, and you can see some of those details about what it looks like. So if I want to, I can grab this example document and actually move it to the example folder. So I'm just going to go ahead and drag it and drop it, and now you see it's removed from the subfolder. Subfolder is still there, and there's my example document that I just created. So you can drag and drop those. So that helps you organize your files. Documents that are shared with me, or when you go to share this file, right-clicking on it lets you choose to share, and I can open up the share settings. And to quickly share this with someone at Belton Schools, you just click on the Get Shareable link. It creates a link that is only viewable by others at Belton School, and so I can copy that link right there and just send that to them in an email. If I'd like them to collaborate with me, I could just say edit and then send them the link, and then they can edit. Remember, this means anyone at Belton School District with the link can edit. So you want to make sure you're giving that link to the correct people, or choose to just let them view it. The other option you could do if you want only specific people to edit it is you can type in the name. It will pull up the directory database that has our school district. You can then select some names there and then give them different rights to edit, comment, or view. So I can share this file with Ivy, and give her a note, hello, and then I can choose to notify by email. So when I hit send, this will send an email to Ivy and tell me that this is shared with one person. And notice now that this document has this little people, two people icon, which indicates that it's being shared with another person. And so if I need to see who that is, I would select the file. I can choose the share button. Now I can see this is shared with Ivy Nelson. If at some point I don't want to share that, I click on her name and I can come here and say, hey, remove Ivy from editing this document. And I can go ahead and hit save. And now I still have this link that's anyone at the Belton Schools can edit it, but it's no longer being directly shared with Ivy. So it's still a shared doc. If I needed to turn off the sharing at all, I can again come back in here and I can click on this guy right here and say off. And now that document is no longer shared with anyone. And you notice it loses the little icon that was associated with it. One powerful way use of Google Drive is to use the search drive. And so if I was looking for that document that I had just created, I could type in the title and try and search for it, example doc, and Google will search for all the documents that have those words in it. It also, you can see here's the one I just created and modified today, was the first one. And so I can search for files by name, or I can click the little drop down and search by file type. So if I only want to find example docs that are documents, and I can choose owned by me because I know I created that. So I'll go ahead and search that, and now you can see documents that are owned by me that say example doc in them, and there again is the one I was looking for. So this is a little overview, a little tutorial for Google Drive. I hope you find it useful, and I hope you go about your Google Drive experience organized, and let's get sharing.